Hello, let's talk about creating a life of ease or an easeful life. I have people ask me all the time, how do you get so much done? And it seems as though they think it's a mystery that one can juggle competing priorities, that one can take on more when their plate seems already full. And so let's talk about that. What I believe is that it's a choice. I choose to create a life of ease. And what I mean by that is I choose to employ a handful, all right, maybe a little more than a handful of tactics that support that support my desire and my intention to live a life of ease. I'm going to tell you about 4 of those today. I actually have identified 8, but let's talk about 4 now and 4 later. Number 1, prioritize. By that I mean know which are your glass balls and know which are your rubber balls that you're juggling. Which ones require more intense effort, more intense focus, and which ones can you back off a little bit here and there. And when you think about that prioritization, I mean every day, every week, every month, you should be prioritizing all that is on your plate so that you have that clarity day by day, week by week, month by month. So when you intentionally prioritize, you start to realize that not everything is a priority. And you're able to say, ooh, glass ball, rubber ball, and here's how I'm gonna sort them based on my sense of the priority. Number 2, habits. I'm a huge fan of habits and habit stacking, meaning layering one habit on top of another. Successful people who handle quite a bit and quite a bit of competing priorities have solid habits. And there's a lot on the internet. Mel Robbins is a big fan of creating habits that you can check out about, or Atomic Habits, that's a great book. You can check out a more in-depth way to create those habits. What I challenge you to do is to habit stack. So a couple of my go-to habits are in the morning when I'm brushing my teeth, I set an intention for the day. Everybody brushes their teeth in the morning, at least I hope so. So take that time to set an intention for the day. When I'm brushing them at night, I reflect upon how well I met that intention. Another habit stack for me is that if I'm going to scroll through social media, I say, okay, let's have the habit of, I want to do a wall sit, I want to do a plank, maybe only 1 minute, right? Maybe 2 minutes. And so while I'm doing either of those things, I will give myself the luxury of scrolling through social. Next is sequence. It's a real cousin, let's say, of habit stacking is that you create these sequences in your life where you do certain things in a certain order. And I highly recommend that you think about the sequence before and after a meeting. How do you set yourself up to be present and ready to receive the information or ready to participate? And how do you debrief after the meeting? And creating the same sequence every time. And last for today will be calendaring. There's lots of information on the Thriving Leader Collaborative site about calendaring. Not easy for me to say. What I mean by that is we live by our calendars, and so own that. Make the choice to calendar well. And I'm going to encourage you to think about 3 things. PPR, how you prioritize, how you prep, and then how you reflect. So at minimum, if you choose, or when you choose to pay attention to those 3 things for your calendaring, you will set yourself up for success. So PPR, prep, prioritization, and reflection. So I'm going to put time on my calendar for preparation, for meetings, for projects that I'm responsible for, anything that's a to-do for me, I'm going to calendar that time. I'm going to calendar time to do the prioritization that I spoke about at the very beginning. So I set aside time each day, each week to prioritize the following day, the following week. And last but not least, the reflection. The reflection is where we step into choosing to recognize what we are doing well, what we want more of, acknowledging when we are slipping in to our life of ease. I guarantee that these 4 plus the other 4 that I'll talk about later will set you on a path to choosing an easeful life, a life of joy.